on Mostly Superheroes, back in the basement. Sam the Sleeper's here. The Giggler. Scotty Scoop. I'm your host, Logan. Superman Returns, 2006. The Road to Superman. James Gunn's Superman movie coming out in July 2025. James Gunn, we're counting down. I mean, July, we're going to definitely be doing a screen and social for this. You know we will be. And the Road to Superman is so vast. You know, one of the oldest superheroes, comic books all the way through. But I thought, why don't we just pull some out of the archive? Superman Returns was 2006. That was an exciting time. We hadn't had a Superman on the big screen since Reeve. And this is a sequel, essentially, to Superman 1 and 2, not 3 and 4. Andy, you helped me out with that.
So this deletes 3 and 4?
It's like...
Or just ignores it?
It ignores it. It's like 1 and 2, okay, the Donner cut, and then this is kind of like a sequel with the studios on the film, Warner Brothers, Legendary Pictures, DC Comics, Bad Hat Harry Productions. Bryan Singer's the director on the film. Isn't that X-Men?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
That's Bryan Singer. They're like...
Now canceled, I do believe.
He's canceled?
Yeah.
I always wondered what happened to Bryan Singer.
It's
hard to keep up with all the cancellations.
I mean, I think he's been canceled before canceling was a thing.
Who knows?
Maybe rock and roll.
It's
We
not-
don't really know.
And it's exactly, and it's not good to assume.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll cover this later.
Yeah.
So Bryan Singer, good luck out there.
Sorry, Brian.
X-Men though, so they were like, "Hey, dude, we love what you did with those X-Men movies. Come do Superman Returns with this crazy, team, writers on the film, Michael Daugherty and Dan Harris did the screenplay. Bryan Singer, Michael Daugherty, Dan Harris also did the story. The cast his name is Brandon Routh. Oh, spoiler alert
Best
too
part
for the
of
movie. Spoiler alert for sure. He comes in and this was so exciting. I remember this. It was like Superman is back. It's literally in the title.
He's returning.
He's returning. Who else we got in this? We got Kate Bosworth.
Kate Bosworth, yeah.
Doing Lois. Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin
I think
Spacey.
Lex
also
Luthor.
Also canceled.
height of.
Oh, very canceled.
Yeah.
Very canceled.
Nah, he's back.
Oh, God.
Is he coming back? I heard he wasn't
No,
really
no.
convicted of anything.
Are they letting him
He
like?
wasn't.
Is,
But he's back. I think he just did a movie.
we're not trying to bring. We're not trying to
Crazy.
bring the mood down, but we did just watch Superman Returns.
Yes.
Okay.
It's easy to get dragged down.
James Marsden,
Cyclops.
Oh, yeah.
Cyclops. Oh, Brian was like, I know.
Yeah, I know a guy.
He was playing Richard White. His name was Richard White.
Yeah.
Lois Lane's new
Oh.
love interest.
I just
That's
kept thinking of that
Perry,
the jury show.
Jury duty.
Perry
Yes.
White's son.
Oh, jury duty.
Jury
Yeah.
duty.
Oh,
I was like,
so
yeah, there's
good.
Marsden.
What'd you say, Scott?
Perry White's son.
And Perry White was played by Frank.
Langella.
What about Sam Huntington as Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah, that was definitely him.
He was definitely like, ooh, I'm a nervous guy.
Yeah, but
They-
take
Oh,
some
yeah.
pictures.
They casted that one pretty well.
He got that shot of Superman though with the globe, and I was like, this would change your life. Getting that picture, just like he's back.
Awkwardly eat my burrito at the end of this movie.
And then the forgettable Eva Mary Saint as Martha Kent. Just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
what happened there? Just like let's just get like the most classic old lady from like
Yeah.
Red Riding Hood, like just a grandma.
Was that not the same dog that was in Blade with Parker Posey as well?
That would be something.
Yes.
Blade
Dude,
3.
Parker Posey. I
It's
even
gotta
been.
be.
She's
yeah,
got a
Parker
name with
Posey
dogs.
playing Kitty
It's the same
Kowalski.
dog. It's
A
a
Pomeranian.
yeah.
That
What
Triple H
Oh.
had
in Blade.
in Blade 3.
Did it eat
Cute
another
little dog that.
Oh, right, because the dogs eat each other.
Yeah.
One of them eats the other one.
Oh.
Remember that? Like he shows up. Like, weren't there two of those? We left him
And
here
he's
for
like
too
eating
long.
a bone, and there's just a bunch of fur everywhere. Anyway,
We're kind of talking nerdy stuff, but we're getting into the story. Estimated $204 million budget, making it one of the most expensive films of the time
That's
in 2006.
expensive 20 years
Dang.
ago.
That's like what they do now. Maybe 2 to 3 or
Yeah.
2, 3, 4 nowadays.
that's like half
kinda-
a billion these days.
Cap 4, 180 million.
It was real.
Right.
It was real kryptonite that they used at the end. I think. That's
Yeah.
why it was so expensive.
Right? They had to find that whole island.
Yeah.
And then box office, it's estimated that it's made $391 million. I paid. I
That's
didn't
not
pay. It was on
surprising.
Max. It was on Max.
Yeah.
Worldwide. So just some background. This was meant to serve as an homage to Richard Donner's Superman 2. It does ignore the events of 3 and 4, but it's a continuation of the story. And the story here is he left for 5 years to go find Krypton because astronomers
Found
They
it.
found
the
Krypton
wreckage.
again.
Which
Yeah.
is odd to me that he needed astronomers.
First thing, that was my first thought too, was like, oh, so you needed like human, like, so the human astronomers were like hey, Superman, your Krypton's still around. He's like, I'll be back in 5 years. I was like, anytime he's interacted with Krypton, it's been like with Krypton. It'd be like via the Fortress of Solitude.
That's
Or-
why I'd say, where's the Fortress of Solitude? And what the hell the human coordinates of a planet even help you? You'd be like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah,
I'm just
you
gonna
would think
fly
there
in
would be
space.
something in his like data banks.
Does his brain have like coordinate navigation? He's like, they gave me the coordinates. I know exactly how to get to it.
And then what's happening with the Fortress of Solitude? Lex Luthor just walks right in,
Yeah.
and is like, "Tell me everything." And he's like, "I'll tell you the wonders of the universe." Like where you would probably find out something like
Yeah.
Krypton might still be there. He returns, and it's been 5 years.
So he returns. Why?
because he tells his mom that she's like, "There's no." It was a graveyard. I
Yeah.
found a graveyard.
Nothing there.
There's nothing there. It
Nothing
was.
in at Krypton. In Krypton?
And he's like, I'm the only one left. And he's like, I'm back. And it's like, it's slow and steady on this. It's like dealing with the fact that there wasn't a Superman around. So like, it's a world that hasn't had a Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back. And it just took forever to even get him on screen.
40 minutes.
Well, he did come from Krypton.
I mean,
Takes a
I
while.
looked at the time.
And it was kind of like a weak entrance.
Yeah, it was.
It was just kind of like she sees it and the dog's like, and then she's like walking up on the craft. And I was just like, what?
And then he passes out like on her right away.
And I'm like, all right, cool, kind of looking gray little suit. And I'm like, wow, there he is. This is the first time I'm seeing Superman on screen since Christopher Reeve. And like, he's just like, I mean, a lot like how he gets introduced in this trailer for the new Superman in 2025. Like getting knocked, like he's waking up. Like it's kind of like, like there are themes that might like they were onto something there. Like, what if the Superman's like battered down
Mm-hmm.
and he has to like come back up? But I mean, he just gets like right back to kind of business. He like goes to the Daily Planet.
Yeah, like how do you just show up for your job that you left 5 years ago?
And no coincidence, like, and Lois doesn't know. No one
Yeah.
knows.
Oh,
It's,
yeah.
it's not like
Superman left, Clark's gone.
I
don't.
guess it was.
Yeah.
I think,
Corporate wants you to tell the difference between these two pictures. No, those are different.
and like even
Totally.
even
Totally
Ja-
different.
even James Marsden, Dick White,
Dick White.
Dick White.
is just like, how tall would you say Clark is?
Yeah.
And she's like, and they're like, can you imagine? And then they're just like making fun of him.
Guys, I think
What
I'm
an
realizing
ugly
that
guy.
that whole dichotomy is why I love Batman so much more than Superman. I think.
Well, this is
Growing
this is
up.
not the
Growing
character's.
up, I
it's-
mean.
yeah, it's
Like,
not,
I
it's
could
not the
never-
character's fault.
I
Like,
never got. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that. Like I just never got
This is
into
what you
Superman
had.
as much as Batman back in the day, and I think it was just because I could never get over just that he's
Yeah.
just the same person. He looks.
Yeah.
Just
like,
throw some glasses
threw
on.
glasses
and just
on.
put the squiggle
Threw
away.
these glasses on, and now
And Jimmy Olsen's like, I'll get you all set up. Don't worry. And then he's like, let's get a beer. And they get a beer, him and Jimmy Olsen. And he's just like, so Lois seems like she's really dating that guy.
Oh yeah, and she's got a kid.
Oh, he's got, and he's
she's married.
and he's got asthma. Well, it's a long engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not married.
Oh, but he's a pilot. So
Yeah.
she's got a type.
Yeah.
flying.
Fly.
Flying. She loves those flyers.
Fly boys.
All right, let's just focus on the Lex Luthor for a minute. I mean, this Lex Luthor, this was also such like a weird origin story for this like Lex that was supposedly from the Donner movies. Like he married an old woman that was rich and he like took care of her and then she's like, you can have everything, and the whole family's like outside the room like, don't,
He doesn't love you.
he doesn't love you, you're making a mistake.
She did say he gave me the most pleasure, or something like that. Something sexy,
Yeah.
she said.
Yes, it was very, and then he had a wig and he just
The wig.
throws it at the kid.
The Lex Luthor in this movie loves wigs.
Dude.
Oh, man,
which is a
it's like
callback.
fetish.
Which is a callback, right? Like that's from the first Superman. I
Is
think
it?
He had a wig
Yeah.
room in the underground layer where he was hanging out. Like what's his name? Gene
Gene Hackman.
Gene
Wilder.
Hackman.
Oh.
Yeah, I always do that too. Gene Hackman. Like this is like his Lex Luthor, which was like just kind of kooky, kind of quirky, but Kevin Spacey like takes it to like this different
Yeah,
weird level.
He does.
And he's in like a lot of exact things about like almost lines from the first Superman movie were in this movie. Like he's like talking to Kitty, played by Parker Posey, and he's like, real estate, my dad always said, get the biggest chunk of land or you don't. Or whatever.
It's just that line interjection here that just reminded me of that country song, "Buy Dirt," whatever it is. It's all I kept thinking about. I'm like,
Talking
yeah,
to the wrong guy here. I
I
don't,
get it.
Yep,
Buy
no
dirt.
country here.
Oh God,
Andy,
okay.
you know it?
You're on an island.
I don't know if I know that one.
Wow. Okay. That's
How's it
fine.
go? Is it like, get you some of that land?
Yeah, buy
I
some
don't know a lot of
dirt.
country.
My dad always said, "Buy dirt."
Yeah, my wife left me and she took my dog. Nobody's on my dirt.
Driving my truck on
Pick
my
up
dirt.
truck.
Drinking out of my solo cup.
Yeah, now we're just singing Red Solo Cup. I guess I do know country.
There you go.
R.I.P.
Beautiful.
R.I.P. to all the country
Toby-
fans that just
Toby Keith.
unsubscribed.
Toby Keith. You're right. Yeah, so, I mean, villain setup was just kind of strange, but the plan is clear. Get these crystals. Crystals make land. I'll make a kryptonite island.
Yeah.
And there's just so much in between, Clark and like Lois meets him on the roof, and
Some might say too much.
I was gonna say there was so much.
you know where they spent too much time in this movie
Was
everywhere, but
everywhere?
Superman.
Dick White's house.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's his house with the plane. That we definitely got like a deal on getting this house with the plane for the weekend. Shoot as much as we can.
Yeah.
Flying and like looking at the kid and looking at Lois and
Is this when he's like spying on him and shit?
totally spying.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Totally
They spent
creepy.
so much time spying.
Yes. This movie is weird about like big moments. Like we talked about like how his entry was kind of weak. Then it's like, all right, Lois is on this airplane that is hooked to a space shuttle. I mean, this is the coolest part of the movie, probably. Like,
Mhm.
probably. This is probably
Honestly, yeah.
This
I would
is
agree.
it.
I think there was like 2, maybe 3 parts in this movie that, were legit. Like, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and
watch this.
focus
And see this
and
sequence.
see the sequence.
How do they do this? Let's remind ourselves of like this was pretty good. Like the sequence itself of too much hiding. Like
So, yeah,
he's
something went
trying to show
wrong.
his he's ripping off his shirt to show the S. They literally are about to show it and they pan away.
Was
Yeah.
this the elevator?
They don't even do no. He's literally on the street.
He's on the
and
sidewalk.
He's running
Okay.
and it looks like he's about. It's like the most like it's almost like they don't even know about that.
Yeah, they're like
They don't know about like
edging you to Superman.
they don't know about even edging. Like they're beyond the edge.
Yeah.
Like they showed him kind of unbuttoning his shirt.
Yeah, we're like, we know what's supposed to happen there.
And then him entering and the plane is coming apart. Just bad Supermaning a little bit here.
Mhm.
Like not like I know he's rusty. It's been 5 years. He's like gotta make sure this shuttle's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
gotta get
gotta
this
get
shuttle
these
to
guys out.
space.
I wouldn't want to land
Oh.
both of these things safely. Like, we'll just get this guy on his way.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
the plane is like
Yeah.
It's spinning out of control.
just falling apart. But he's like, and he
Yeah.
goes, his eyes get real big. He's like, oh god.
I like when the
You don't know those
200
wings.
people on there.
the wings come off the plane, but the guy has still got the stick. Like, I think I could probably do this.
His
fly
gauge
in
is-
space.
Oh man.
and the people are not Parker Posey. What's her name? The big forehead girl.
Kate Bosworth. That's Lois Lane.
Lois Lane. That's right. She
Big
is.
forehead girl. That's a 5-head for sure.
Yeah, she is
Yeah, ouch.
flying all.
Ouch,
It's almost
ouch.
comedic. I thought I was watching like a scary movie.
Yeah.
It was so she's all over the place.
Oh,
hitting
like
this
getting-
wall, throwing around. No
literally,
seatbelt on.
hey, literally did the one thing in an airplane you're not supposed to do,
Yeah,
like
what
with
the
the
fuck?
oxygen mask. I was like, what are we doing? Like now you're just teaching people the wrong move in
Yeah.
airplane.
Oh my god! And then she
Put it on your face.
She is
Yeah.
incurring so much damage, and then she's like, "Fine,
totally fine.
totally fine."
Yeah, she definitely
got
should
thrown.
be concussed or bleeding.
And Superman
She
he had both crafts.
I've
all,
had-
all he had to do was like separate them, and we were back in business.
Yeah,
I've
it's
had
like he
tough
stood
turbulence
there
where
for a
people are
while.
injured and have ambulances show up. Tough turbulence, wrist injuries, all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And she is
Oh right. And
Fine.
She's well, her dad's a football player.
Yeah.
Really?
Brian Bosworth, yeah. Legendary football player.
This is why you come to the podcast, right?
Oh,
here.
legendary.
Dude, I didn't know
Wow,
that.
little
I did not
nugget.
know that.
That-
Line-
that's
linebacker,
just for
I think.
Patreons. She's got-
Raiders?
Actually, cut that. Actually, yeah, patrons only.
Patrons
Roadhouse.
But the sequence of him like flying through the plane and landing and like catching it in the baseball field.
Yeah, it barely just crunches just a little bit.
I did like
on
the
nose.
ripples.
Yeah,
of
that
the
was kind.
inertia.
That was cool. But like, that's it.
Yeah.
Then it's like straight to
You could turn it off, honestly.
Yeah.
Right after that.
Lois Lane and
You
her
could cut
son
the
get.
next hour of movie.
Yeah. The next hour and skip hour
How about
because I kind of did.
maybe go to White Castle
Mm-hmm.
with
If
Kumar.
You,
With yeah.
come
Yes.
back, nothing's happened.
Kumar.
I love it.
You know, he was like, I am gonna break into the superhero scene, and he did.
I mean, this is basically my first watch of this movie. I know
I never
I've seen,
Really?
I've seen clips of it before. But
What are you thinking
I,
at this point? Like Lois Lane's at like the boat with her son, like because they snuck on to his boat,
Yeah.
and he has his toothbrush. He's like Lois Lane.
Lois Lane.
Yeah, that's all kind of when it went a little bit sideways. But like the first little bit, like hour or so, I was like, you know what, this might be promising. I kind of regret not
Right.
giving this a chance. I
Right.
like Brandon Routh a lot from the Arrowverse days.
Yeah.
Yes, totally. Legends,
Um,
Arrow,
the Atom,
and
the Crisis.
and Adam and Superman.
Yeah.
Crisis.
This isn't the last time we've seen
He's Superman again on TV.
we've seen him. I mean, it seems like
it's cool.
with a
Yeah.
lot of the things
That was cool. Way
Yeah.
cooler than this movie.
You wanna talk
for
about that?
Sure.
it seemed like with a lot of the things that happened in this movie that maybe they were vouching for a sequel, but unfortunately we had to wait a much longer time to see him in that suit again.
Oh, we did. And he was a good Clark. He had those crazy, stupid blue contact lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked insane.
Yeah. On paper, this movie should have been good.
And I had feelings about like the new Superman movie with like David Cornsweet and the Clark Kent into the Daily Planet. Like I felt that with Brandon
Mhm.
and
He was a good Clark Kent.
very good Clark.
Great Superman.
Great
Looks,
Superman. He didn't get to do anything. He didn't.
No.
There was no fight sequence.
No.
There was no.
he got shot in the eyeball.
Oh, the eyeball. I hit Carrie while she was working, and I go, "You're gonna want to see this."
It is one of the other big
One
moments.
of the 2 or 3 things.
The second biggest
It's
moment.
the
Yeah.
second biggest moment that's 5 seconds long.
Just unloading the.
It's good to know that since I didn't watch the last 40 minutes that I did not miss anything. But you did say those two, the two, Lois Lane and her kid, snuck on that yacht?
They snuck on.
I didn't
snuck
see
on
that.
to
It was
do a little investigation, I guess. Like why?
I would
I don't
definitely
even remember
bring my
why
small
she
child.
had the kid with her.
I know. I got lost. So right then, I was like, "Whoa, you have like." I don't remember how we jumped to you going on
Well,
this
okay.
yacht.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Okay, I
I was
turned
like,
around.
What's this kid here?
I turned around to do something, and I, in the kitchen, and I look back, and I'm like, they're on the yacht.
And she's like, "If I can get this fax machine to work, we're saved." And
yeah.
what's the least noisy
kidnapped.
thing I can do?
Go play
Yeah.
the piano.
Yeah.
AOL is loading up.
And he's like, the guy's like, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. With the kid.
That was a nice
Yeah,
piano,
with
though.
the kid.
It's like,
And it's
oh,
a-
this guy is
nice.
100% a predator with the clown tattoo on the back of his
Oh.
head.
Oh,
My,
and
ki-
I'm
my,
just gonna let him play
Okay.
piano.
my
for a
3-year-old
little
looked
bit.
at the back of that because he was actually hooked on this movie for a little bit.
nice.
Ari, and he goes,
That's fun.
scary. That's scary. The back of his head with that tattoo.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments that stuck in my brain. Like when I watched it again, I was like, "Oh, I remember this." And Lex Luthor's like, "Go ahead, just say it. Just say it for me, Lois." She's like, "Superman." She's like, "Superman will stop." He's like, "No, wrong, wrong."
He had the kryptonite cylinder and he got it close to the kid and the kid was like,
And then he's the first one to finally say something out
says
loud. He goes,
"Who's that kid's father?"
Who's
Who's
that
that
kid's
kid's father?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I was confused because then it didn't do anything.
When I'm looking to catch the latest flick or indulge in a film classic, there's no place like the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema at the City Foundry, St. Louis, Missouri. It's where cinema and comfort collide, with plush seats, state-of-the-art visuals, and a menu that's a blockbuster in its own right. For you movie buffs that can't get enough, check out the Alamo Season Pass. For just $19.99 a month, you can watch as many movies as you want, up to 1 per day. It's the ultimate ticket for those who live and breathe movies. That's not all. The Alamo Drafthouse is more than just movies. It's an experience, with events that celebrate film culture, trivia nights that test your movie knowledge, and a bar that's a tribute to cinematic absurdity. It's the ultimate hangout for anyone who loves a good story. You can also book the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema for your private events, birthdays, celebration, corporate events, or even staple events like our Screen and Social. So whether you're a diehard cinephile or just in for a good time, join me and the crew at 3765 Foundry Way in St. Louis, Missouri. Dive into their showtimes and events at www.drafthouse.com. And don't forget to tell them Mostly Superheroes sent you, because every movie night should be legendary. Hey squad, Logan here from Mostly Superheroes, wanting to talk to you today about some real-life heroes. Team Jakey, headquartered here in St. Louis, Missouri. They're turning the tragedy of losing their beloved Jake Zeller into life-changing action. Not just by making a difference, but by saving lives. Team Jakey supports both the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and Provident Behavioral Health here in St. Louis. Join us at their annual Gentleman Jake Memorial Cornhole Tournament. It's more than just a game. It's a community coming together to lift each other up with some of the world's best prizes. If you're feeling down or know someone who is, Team Jakey's here with a message of hope. Reach out by calling 988. You can also visit www.afsp.org or text TALK to 741-741. You're not alone, and there's always a way forward. Someone's waiting for your call or text message. Search for Team Jakey on Facebook and learn more at www.mostlysuperheroes.com/give. Every bit helps, and together, we can make a difference. Hey squad, Logan here. You know what keeps our adventures fueled? The incredible brews from Four Hands Brewing Company. They've been our go-to craft brewery since 2012. Our studio fridge is always stocked with their finest, from Citywide Light to Incarnation to Divided Sky to Chocolate Milk Stout, along with the latest seasonal and small batch releases. Whether you're downtown, Kirkwood, the district in Chesterfield, or passing through St. Louis Lambert Airport, Four Hands has you covered. Grab a cold Citywide. They're a philanthropic brew created to give back to the St. Louis community. Since its launch in 2016, Citywide has raised over $300,000 for local nonprofits. For every case sold, $1 is donated to carefully selected charities. If you're in the mood for something different, check out Four Hands Extended Family 1220 Spirits and Withered Oak. They've got cocktails, seltzers, and non-alcoholic options to quench any thirst. And a special deal for you Mostly Superheroes fans. Mention Mostly Superheroes or the password MOSTLY to your bartender at any Four Hands location and you get your second beer free. Must be 21 years of age to redeem. Again, go to any Four Hands location, mention Mostly Superheroes, password MOSTLY, and get your second beer on us and Four Hands. Limited time promotion. Get it while supplies last. Visit them in person or head over to fourhandsbrewery.com. Follow them at Four Hands Brewing Co. on Instagram and social media. Cheers to great beers and even better times with Four Hands Brewing Company.
Hi, everyone. I'm interrupting this podcast to talk about another podcast. Hi, I'm Randy Naughton. You know that lady from TV for so many years? Well, I too have a podcast called More to Say with Randy Naughton. Interesting conversations with interesting people. And when I say interesting, I mean amazing people. What about the Mac Daddy of all sportscasters, Bob Costas? Phyllis from The Office. Phyllis Smith is her name. Alan Hunter, one of the original MTV VJs. We talk to people about medicine, about tech, about travel, you name it. Great conversations. Now, they're, again, not interviews. They're conversations. So you never know where they're going to take us. Make sure when you're done with this podcast, check mine out. It's called More to Say with Randy Naughton, available wherever you stream your podcast.
We got pretty cool ads on this podcast, I'll give us that. However, you might be like me when it comes to certain content, and I just don't want the ads. As little as $1.99 a month, you can get ad-free content from Mostly Superheroes. That's right. Patreon, Apple Podcast, Podbean, all of these channels offer ad-free versions of our episodes coming out early, including the patron pre-show, the show before the show. Open up Patreon, Apple Podcast, or Podbean, or go to mostlysuperheroes.com/support to learn more. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcasts. And then the guy like catches his Lois Lane, starts beating the hell out of her, and then this is Superman's son.
Yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
Superman's son.
Piano.
Stetson goes flying. I don't know. I saw that. It was a nice piano. Look, I don't
And
know.
they don't even show him.
you do
pushing
have
it.
money
They
now.
he's just like
Naming
standing
piano
there.
brands. Yeah, he's standing there like arms out.
Yeah.
And then they throw him in the pantry, and Lois like, think you could do that again? And he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm
Yeah.
like, God, why do you gotta suck now?
Oh, I gotta suck. Nice pantry though.
Yeah, like, hey,
So
I know you just
nice.
murdered a man.
Yeah, right. How about that man you killed?
He's got olives on his fingers now. Literal green olives on his fingers. Sorry, Mom. Playing in this jar of olives.
And then it gets like real dark. Like the boat's going down. The dad, like somehow Dick White made it there,
Yeah,
and they're
his little
going.
seaplane.
The thing hits her on the head, and the boat is going down. And meanwhile, Superman is like saving Metropolis, and like I guess here's where they bring it again. When he's like, he sees like the crack in the earth, and they used X-ray vision a lot in this, like too much.
Yeah.
Like heat vision.
The rubble was coming down.
That
And
was
he-
cool.
Yeah, but all I could think was like, where'd the end of that beam go? Like,
Yeah.
did he just massacre someone,
He
or is it like, or did he
blew
phase
up the
it?
moon.
Did he phase it? You know, right?
He melted it to hot lava, so that it just went on. What you didn't see was the people below just burning to death.
Molten rock.
Right. They, like nothing from the boys. In
What a
here.
good movie that would be if they just showed every cutscene that didn't
Yeah.
make it.
Just like
What really
a room
happened?
exploding.
What
Like,
really happened?
they kind of do that in Batman versus Superman. They like kind of show what Man of Steel did to
Yeah.
the city.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
sure.
fight. Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
cool.
yeah,
Oh,
That was
now
cool.
looking at that, looking at this next to
Oh,
that, you're like,
God.
that's a good movie.
yeah.
But Superman, he saves the city. Oh, he catches the globe, and Perry White's like, "Great Caesar's ghost."
You'll have to fill me in from here on out.
The boat was going down, and
This
like
is where
Lois and his family, like Lois was unconscious. Dick White's holding everybody up, and like they're drowning, and the boat's going down, and you're like, they might actually drown here. And it was like dark. It was just a
Finally,
dad with his
something
little
happens.
kid and Lois. Yeah,
Yeah.
something happened. It was like, and then Superman's there, and they just this is what they did too with his powers. That was just frustrating. They just like they're like, oh look, he's lifting a boat, and like it was just obviously him like on a set like holding the boat, just like. And you're just like, I'm not quite buying it. Like,
Not immersed
Yeah.
or convinced.
right. And then he has the showdown with Lex. So he saves him. And then
Yeah.
Lex stabs him with the kryptonite. And this was a tough scene to watch. He gets a
Beating
beat
the
down.
hell out of him, man. Like it.
Lex beats the hell out of Superman.
Lex beats the
Yeah.
hell out of Superman, but then like doesn't. He like tries to kick him, and he's like, I got your foot. And he like throws him. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little.
Can we get the
awkward.
fight coordinator out here?
Kicks him right down in the water.
They didn't have to budget for that, I guess.
But he made the kryptonite island. I like that you don't know, because now it's like I'm telling you.
Yeah, no. After the
And
yacht.
this is definitely more interesting.
I'm
than
excited
what
for your
actually
Logan,
happened.
Logan's version.
Yeah, this is. I mean, here it is, Kryptonite Island, and Lex Luthor wins. They throw him in the water, and it's like Superman is drowning at the bottom of the ocean. Lex
Still
still stabbed
with
with kryptonite.
crypto. Gotcha.
Lois Lane, Dick White, Superman's son, hop on a beach craft, get it in the air. Lois is like, we got to go back. They go back for him.
Yeah,
They find
the
him
Sun. The sun saw him
The
from
sun.
the plane.
Oh,
Yeah.
because he's
Superman's down
Super
there.
Son.
because he's
Okay.
Super Son. He's
Yeah.
Superboy.
Superboy.
Super
It's
Bear.
like, are you sure? Yep.
And they go
So
back.
Circle around.
Lois goes down, gets him. They get him on the
Lois
plane.
goes down.
They get him. They land the plane. She dives.
Seaplane.
Seaplane.
Seaplane. Yeah.
And he's like, it's choppy. And you could tell it was just like a wet mop. You could just, that's something pilots would say, I feel like.
I don't know.
Just sluggish like a big old sponge. And, I mean, they get Superman in the air. She takes the kryptonite out of him, and he's like, ah.
Oh.
And then she pulls it like all the way, and he's like, oh. Like, it's like really weird.
We definitely need to do like you did with the X-Men 97.
It's going to happen, I
and
think.
recut
Yeah.
that into the scene.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Somebody cut that.
Oh,
So- yeah.
kryptonite.
Hey, me.
Oh.
I feel like you're explaining a different movie. This and all of a sudden ended up being some weird.
And she
Porn?
throws the kryptonite out. He like stands up. He's like, "See ya, Lois," and he like flies off. And he flies up to the sun. This is the third best part of the movie. He's in the sun, and it's like
Slow
classic.
recharge,
Like this is
yeah.
like where I start getting goosebumps and stuff now. Like that. Now this movie, I'm like,
It just started for you.
yeah, totally. Like, yeah, give me Superman. You're like begging for Superman at this point. He gets in the sun, juices up, classic Superman, and flies down to the earth, heat ray vision on from a high ground, and he drills to underneath Kryptonite Island, and he gets underneath it, and he flies it to outer space,
Mm-hmm.
and then he passes the F out and
Yep.
like falls down
Because
to.
he's
Sleepy
pushing a
time.
kryptonite island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kryptonite was literally stabbing him in the chest. And this is where it gets pretty much. This is like a big comment for like a Superman fan. I'm like, I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
There's no world where the Superman could be doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
You can't lift a kryptonite
Yeah.
island.
Yeah.
I don't care how much solar energy.
Because it's
you
his
just took
kryptonite.
That was the idea, was that he charged himself. and that he,
So good.
and then I thought maybe.
Because
he
I was
got-
about to ask. I'm not a big Superman guy. So
Absolute's kind of like
Is
that, right? He
this-
charges up.
is this even
His suit is
possible
solar
for
powered.
his character to? He hates kryptonite. That's his kryptonite, for the lack of a better term. And then he can just like move a kryptonite island.
But,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like it's funny because it's like it's a Superman movie, but it's like
Mhm.
this is unbelievable. Like he could not do that.
It's like the
'Cause-
one thing he can't do, and
Right.
he can do it.
Yeah.
Like
Which this
it's
movie
like,
kind of does a lot. There's a
it
lot of things
doesn't
where you're like,
matter.
this is the one thing you shouldn't have done.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how strong or powerful he is. Just like in the presence of kryptonite,
Power is gone.
it's gone. You know, he's weak. Not
You-
only weak, but like sick.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the first one he puts it like around his neck and it like just takes him out.
Yeah.
Like Smallville would just take him out. It would get so frustrating. You'd be like, God, get over it.
Yeah.
Okay. That would have confused me.
And then they do this big thing with like, is he dead or not? And they have like two newspapers where it's like Superman is dead.
I mean, they put him
Superman's
on a gurney.
alive, and they put him in the gurney, and they're like,
They're like,
we can't get
"Clear,
the IV in his arm, and they're like,
clear."
clear, and like they do it, and the whole room like like the machine breaks because they can't use any other.
You know, in the hospital for who knows how long.
Yeah, I guess like a day or two,
Yeah.
and then like Lois goes and sees him, and then he's like, I'm back.
The nurse comes in, and there's just no one in
There's
the
no
bed.
one there. Oh,
Was the window open or something?
20 minutes of this movie
Yeah.
that just did not need to be
Let's
like
say
this.
it sounds like all these scenes you're explaining seem like they could just. If you're explaining them over 3 minutes, they're probably 30 minutes.
Exactly.
Oh,
it was.
yeah,
It was
for
30
sure.
more minutes of the movie, and you're like,
He gets rid of the island, and like it still goes on for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Well, I
25
got to a
minutes.
point where it was 40 minutes, 45 minutes left. I'm like, how is this movie still have 45 minutes left?
and that's it. It's like he's back, and they do like a big like homage to like the Donner films with like him flying over the earth and looking at the camera, and he does like
into space. Like
it was.
you know,
I mean,
kind
I
of
had the feels.
overwatching
You have the feels because
everything.
you're like, this is cool, but you're like, but this movie,
He gets to spend some time with his son.
right? Yeah, exactly. Like you start this sun thread.
The Super Son.
I mean, it seemed like they were trying to make that happen a lot.
All right, let's get some reactions. Let's go first.
This movie was so boring.
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 So boring. Like a lot of people complain about Man of Steel.
Oh yeah,
This is like
That's a masterpiece, maybe.
so
especially when
much
you pin
worse.
it against this.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
masterpiece compared to this.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Yeah, you're like, thank goodness we
Brandon
have that.
Routh looks great.
Yeah,
Did a great job. Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor.
what's cool.
Home run.
Yeah, home run.
That's a great casting.
I was laughing. I was happy about like his scenes. I was like, this is kind of.
I never seen the movie, so I was excited as soon as I saw it boot up, and I was like, "Oh, Kevin Spacey's in this."
Yes, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, here we go.
It's just they couldn't write a movie.
No. Yeah.
This could have been 85, 90 minutes
Yeah. It.
Mhm.
Yeah. It felt
with
like
what they had.
You could cut an hour out for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It felt like we're gonna the old movie's going, but start something new, and that's like where they got like paralysis and like they spread it like too far across everything. They were
Mhm.
like, Superman comes back. We're dealing with like a world without him, and Lex Luthor's back. He's still at large. Like it's like they had all these pieces, but they didn't commit to like anything.
Here's what it comes down to. Nobody wants to see Superman not being Superman.
Especially for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
for that long of a movie, there should have been way more.
We get it. Lex Luthor is Superman's nemesis, but nobody wants to see that.
And if you did, you got to have Superman involved. Like
It's got to be like a subplot.
Yeah, because Lex Luthor just isn't all that interesting in himself. In this movie, for sure, not.
No,
I mean,
it
there
was
just
very
isn't enough.
shallow. It was-
shallow.
oh yeah,
he's
I
a
want
lot of-
real estate.
lot of
I'm-
screen-
he's a like
Mogul.
a mobster.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
thug.
Enough screen time for him, but
and
not
Lex,
enough.
Lex
deep-
Luthor isn't really a thug.
No.
Like he's not a kingpin. Like he's like
I would disagree with that.
but he's like a genius. that-
Yeah.
It usually has like
A
better
genius.
resources.
Yeah.
And like tech, and not just like he was working with but that's like from the Donner films. That's like, and a lot of stuff was like 1-for-1 to those movies, like 1-to-1.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna keep a lot of things, and the style and the tone and the humor was like from the 80s. So, which I'm not saying was wrong.
I
think
get what they were trying to
They had a
do.
good intent, and it was almost like you almost got it. You almost got like this perfect metropolis, which is like, I think James is gonna like hopefully just hit the nail on the head with here this
Like
year.
I want to see Superman battle people at Superman's level. I want to see him doing super stuff like Zod or Bizarro.
Yeah.
Or, someone who can go toe to Doomsday
Or if it's Lex, you got to make it a battle at this
or
point.
Batman in a super suit.
Yeah. Well,
I
we didn't
guess.
need, like
We
Hunn
did- we
said,
did.
is 2.5 hours of him getting to super level.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie was like, "What's this movie called? Superman Returns?" And I just said,
Does he ever?
"When?
Yeah.
Like when? Like
Does he?
when-
Yeah.
Like
That's
and
it.
like when is he gonna be here? Like, but they gave it their best try. Brandon was great. Giggler, I think you said it. Like you were watching Batman at the time. This wasn't doing it for you, and it was 2006. So like we were hungry for
We
it,
didn't have anything else.
and it was a big event for this to happen.
Smallville was happening.
Smallville
right
was
then.
was like
2000.
2008. It was on in 2001. Was
Yeah,
the
when it-
season 1?
Okay,
I
so
think
it ended in 2008.
it actually ended like in 2010 or 11.
I was gonna say
10 seasons.
yeah.
So it was
So
it was
had
happening.
just started.
Oh yeah, and then I remember at the time I was like, dang, they really beefed this movie. Like it's not very
Yeah.
good, and Smallville is so much better than this. And I was like, I can't. Well, we'll wait for the next Superman movie, which would be Man of Steel.
Yeah, 2014, 2013.
Let's
So
see.
I'm not as good at the years on
Henry.
those.
Yeah,
Man of Steel was like, yeah, help us out with we all have computers.
I'm saying 2013.
Let's see. Because this is good because this is like the road to Superman. Like that's what I'm kind of like getting at is like we had this one, then we had Cavill in that one
2013.
in 2013, nice.
So good.
And we had Batman vs Superman, and then we had the Justice League. It's by Joss Whedon for
Yeah.
new fans,
Yep.
and who also did the Avengers.
And the
A lot of
Snyder
people
cut.
don't remember that.
Snyder cut, even longer.
And then the Snyder Cut, which was
Avengers 1 and 2.
it's the only one I saw. was the Snyder
Oh,
Cut.
really?
Yeah, he did Ultron.
he did Ultron,
Mhm.
and also the black and white Justice is Gray or whatever.
oh God, yeah. Never got around to that one.
Remember we watched that? But we watched the Snyder Cut at your
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's an undertaking. We did it all in one sitting. I don't think we took a break.
And then you got the Tyler
Hoechlin?
Hoechlin. I say in my head to myself.
Superman and Lois. CW.
Yes.
That we'll never watch, I guess.
I watched. I don't know why I stopped. I was
Episode 1, boot it up.
I was a few.
God.
I was a
Mostly
few seasons
superheroes.
in. Like
Peter,
a
I
few
love you
seasons in,
3000.
and I quit towards the end of the season, and it must have got bad. But
And then remember,
evidently, people say that it.
I hear this
it
last
got,
season
this last
was
season.
good.
I saw some clips on social media, and I saw a lot of feedback of like how it was a really good ending, and like they got the characters, the villains. Look, it looked not like a CW at all. Like so props to them for turning that around. I might dabble, especially before July when the movie comes out. I'm on all Superman.
I'll say I liked Dean Cain in the Lois and
I was
Clark.
going to say, I think we're
Oh.
forgetting about Lois and Clark.
I liked that
was
show.
90s, right?
Yeah,
Mid-90s?
Big 90s show. I'm about to see if I just don't know if it's gonna hold up. I just don't remember.
Oh, of course it's not. It was probably terrible.
I remember it having like some decent Superman stuff where I was like, okay.
God, I forgot about that one.
But Brandon Routh did play Superman again on the Crisis CW crossovers.
Redemption.
Yeah, we can wrap this one up. Hey Sam, give us your rating. Say it into the mic. Sam Zeller.
Oh,
Seam
God,
the Sleeper. What? And I want your rating and your sleep rating.
Ooh,
This
that's a
is
good one.
Snoozing.
I would say this is a 2-2 on just standard scoring. I thought it was going to be decent because I'd never seen this movie before, and quickly learned how slow it is. And I was like, this is going to be tough. Probably thankful I didn't watch the last 40 minutes. Snooze rating on any other reason, if any other time, if I wasn't going to be on a podcast to talk about it, it would be pretty high, like a 3, probably 3-2.
Which means
I
you'd
gave
be
it 2-2 and a
you'd be
3-2.
snoozing.
I'd be
Yeah.
snoozing.
The higher the score, the higher the snooze.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
Thank you.
Good Z's.
Yep.
All right. All right, we'll do our final wrap up too. Then Superman Returns. We'll save. I'm gonna save you for your last because you loved it. Scotty Scoop. What's your final take?
Man, this is just so boring, and didn't need to be made. Like, man, I feel like it was like a waste of time.
Yeah, time and resources.
Yeah.
Like,
And to, like you said, to be one of the most expensive movies at the time, you said what, 400 million?
no, that was the
200.
box office, but it was 200
200
million in 2006.
million in 2006.
Yeah, a waste.
Yeah, complete waste.
And the marketing was crazy. Like I remember, like it was like this is happening. I remember it was everywhere.
I feel like I don't know what they spent money on. There were some cool shots, but
I know.
there wasn't a lot of Superman in this.
No, they spent half of that budget on the eyeball scene.
Like I'm curious as to what Man of Steel's budget was. You know, not even 10 years later, 4, 5, 6, 7 years later.
Dude,
I feel like that
stand by.
I feel like that had to be high. Anyway,
no, it's good.
2.0.
2.0 out of 4.0.
Like
A flat out 50. It's an F.
if I could learn how to do editing,
Yeah.
I could get this down to 80 minutes.
Oh yeah, it'd probably be worth like I don't like we do not advocate or condone piracy, but if someone's out there made like a fan cut of this movie, I bet it's better. Like I bet they've pieced together like a better because there's some
people
good
that
stuff.
do that.
There's good stuff tucked in.
Who was the kid from that 70s show who played Eric Foreman?
Oh,
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace.
You mean Venom?
Yeah, Venom. he cut the Star Wars prequels, episode 1, 2, and 3, into like one film.
Oh wow. Oh okay.
Like there's people that do like re-edit films.
We need
into
stuff like
something
that. We need like the
yeah,
That's
like
wild.
give me the
like I like when Marvel does the Marvel Legends with like the character catches up. Like they didn't make those longer and like more substantial.
But I've been saying for years, I wish
Oh,
they would
yeah.
make an edit of the shows.
Yeah, cut Loki to like a 2-hour movie
Like
or 5-hour movie. or whatever.
remove the credits. You know, give us everything. Like boom. Like let me just sit down and watch it. It's like 3 hours, 4 hours.
All right, I'm right there with you. This is a 2 point. I'm a Superman fan, and there were things I loves that like gave me some chills. So like 2.4 out of a 4.0, 2.3 out of a 4.0, because it's just a waste of time. They needed to deliver on Superman. Like you're gonna name it Superman Returns. You're gonna do all this. Did you not have any Superman fans in the room? Like
Yeah.
it's just that classic DC feeling, but like this was worse than the stuff we saw. So that's where I'm at with it. It was fun to go back. It definitely gives like a nostalgia. If we don't love anything in this country, it's nostalgia. And you definitely get that. It takes you back to the mid 2000s. It feels like the mid 2000s type of movie, just like the acting and everything, but also paying tribute to those Christopher Reeve films, which was cool too. A friend of mine gave me the box set of the Superman movies on DVD, and Superman Returns was in it. So it was 5 movies, and I think I cried. Like I was like, you gave me the best thing ever, like in the whole world. Like and I was excited, and I'd watch it a couple times. So I have like a heart for it, and I'm glad they tried, but man, they just missed the mark. Giggler, wrap us up, Superboy.
Yeah. You said I loved it, but I don't know if that's the case. I think
I didn't mean you loved it, but you seemed better on it than the rest.
Compared to you, I was surprised. I didn't think that you guys would be dogging on it as much as you guys did, but I think it was a good watch. I enjoyed it. It really was the first time I've seen this. I think I've probably caught scenes of it on TV back in the day in the past 20 years or so, and watched a bit. But I feel like the second half, if they could just rewrite that, we have something that could be a serviceable movie here. But it really did. I agree. For that to be 2.5 hours long, to not have as much Superman as we want, like we've been waiting this many years for them to fall short that much. With that giant budget, I mean, 10 years later, I just looked it up. The Man of Steel budget was only $50 million higher.
What? Oh,
10 years later.
Yeah,
higher.
50,
Okay.
yeah, 50 million.
So 250 million.
250 was the range, like the high range.
But with 10 years or so, or what was it? How much later?
it was 10 years, about 10 years later.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Less than 10 years. But
what was
still.
the budget? I'm sorry, I missed it.
250 for
250?
Man of Steel.
50 million later.
50
10
million more, and you had a movie with 10 times as much action.
Yeah. I think it's just
Still had
Superman.
still had its problems.
Of course it had its problems.
You know what I mean? Like I'm almost like, ooh, the Snyder movies are not aging so bad, but that's not true.
No, yeah,
Like if you watch Batman vs Superman, you're like, it has the same problems as this.
yes.
It's like all the dead space,
Mhm.
all that dead
Mhm.
space.
Like,
Like
why is this happening?
I kind of feel that in every DC movie, though.
It's like they get too caught up, like they try to do the character stuff and they just like miss.
I just feel like every DC film, struggled
Wonder
to
Woman
stay.
1. That's it.
Oh yeah, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman 1. That's
Mhm.
the
Definitely,
shining light of the
definitely not Wonder Woman
Snyderverse.
'84.
Not that one.
definitely not at all.
Straight even 3 out of 4. After this discussion,
Whoa.
The old 75.
I probably should lower that. That's just what I wrote down
No.
earlier. But
Yeah.
Don't get
you're
peer
You're
pressure.
an idiot if you
It's-
think it's a 3, Andy. No, you rate it whatever you want.
I know.
feel-
It makes me happy that you were happy. You
yeah,
know?
no, I want.
That means he was watching it and he was like,
I want to like Superman a lot, but it just still isn't there. Henry
Yeah.
Cavill was close.
You said
Yeah.
you had never seen this before?
No,
I
not-
think that's
"That's
what-
that's
I think,
amazing."
I think that's a
See, but
think
I had
that's
never-
why
I had never
his
seen it
rating
before.
is high.
Neither
I never.
You
You've
didn't
never
finish
seen
it.
it, but you're the sleeper.
I'm the sleeper.
You-
This
you
is
didn't even
not
watch
in
it,
my
and you
ball.
didn't finish it.
I didn't finish
right.
it. Which maybe, yeah, that last 40 minutes, I don't know. Maybe that
There's still time.
when Missy was like,
Cue
this
it
is
up.
so loud, and I was like, it is loud. We should turn it off. I turned it off.
Yeah,
I said it is kind of loud because I had it cranked.
I always crank it.
I think
Carrie's like, "Can we turn this down?"
a part of it is maybe just like Superman. Everything is always seems like a period piece. Like always, it's like what like the 50s or something. I don't even know what like this time period is because we don't work at the Daily
Right.
Planet. We don't have newspapers anymore.
Yeah, they didn't really have like cell phones,
Like,
or they did, but it was.
I'm interested to see like
She's
if they just
faxing.
did
It was
a straight
faxing.
full modern.
There was faxing.
Yeah, like a full modern like Superman. What would that look like? Is
That was-
is that what James Gunn is going to do? I don't. I'd probably.
I don't
not.
even know.
This
I don't
Daily
even
Planet.
think so.
This Daily Planet looks pretty similar to this one.
It's
going
gonna
to
be like
Superman
modernized though a
Returns.
little bit. I bet.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just
That'd
like
be interesting.
Spider-Man.
You got to tell something that's timeless. That's the.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make it feel like I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, can transcend.
And like they were trying with something like this, but it just didn't.
Marsden. He's the best part.
Yeah, it was great to see him in it, and Bryan Singer got canceled maybe for something he did on this movie. We'll have to research it and circle back. All right, Superman Returns: The Road to Superman by James Gunn this July. Definitely come to our screen and social. We got that linked up at mostlysuperheroes.com/events. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Carrogan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swanguarim. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.